I call to order this meeting of the Plain Township Board of Trustees. If everybody will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before us, we have our agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections by fellow board members or department heads at this time? Seeing none, we'll proceed with the agenda. First up, Sheriff's Report. Sergeant Kodak.
Sergeant Coffey.
Hi.
How are you this evening?
Good, how are you, sir?
I'm well.
Good to see you guys. Before you should have the July 2021 monthly report. Our calls for service were down slightly, 1,232 for the month. Ironically, everything's up though. Our crashes were up 68%. Our crashes were with injury, we had 11, those were up. Our alarms were up 21% with 87. And our traffic stops were up significantly. We had 259 traffic stops, so a 51% increase compared to last year. Citations were down a little bit, still issued 91 citations, and conducted 404 vacation/security checks. Detective Little had 7 cases assigned for the month, and he listed the 8 that he had closed. And I believe 3 of those were with arrests.
Yes.
Yeah. We also have the 2020-2021 comparable, and then I looked at the yearly and I said, man, we've been keeping track of this for a while.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long until I start counting all these graphs, and it's been, so.
Do you have any questions for Bill?
You're gonna run out of colors.
Yeah. 9 years we've been keeping track of it.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like 9 years
It
when we
does
first
not.
started doing it, but.
No, but it gives such a great history.
Yeah, it definitely puts things in perspective. And, from 2018 on, you see a little downward trend, but it's very much more than 2013 to 2017 with that
Yes.
addition.
Yes.
So definitely see it in the numbers.
You trend that against, the increase in the population, at least the home build out.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to set it off so proportionately. Probably is a.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. With all the new constructions and the neighborhood's growing, for sure. So,
Thank you.
all right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next up on unfinished business, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. I'll actually turn that over to Mr. Steinberg as these are part of revisions.
First one is a resolution to amend Resolution 21-384 to read 01B02 and Fund 14A08V.
I also move on unfinished business number 1.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, so I had been so used to working out of 14A01B, that was my default. I gave that to Lauren, which was a mistake for the restroom project, so we have to correct it. This one and the next one just read 08V for the other fund line item to take the restroom project.
The COVID fund, the COVID cares,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, no further discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And unfinished business item 2 is to amend Resolution 21-385 to read the same thing, 01B02 and Fund 14A08B.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you, that concludes unfinished business.
It's going to take us right to the fiscal officer's report. Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a resolution to authorize the payment of pending warrants in the amount of $119,514.46.
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Sabo. Second. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, I just want to point out it's All Care and Mutual Health Services because we have the 3-month run out, yes, with All Care, so that's why you're seeing both.
Further discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the financial report for July.
Guys got any questions, see, tell them after.
Fiscal Officer number 5 is a resolution to award depository contracts for active and/or interim funds of Plain Township for the 5-year period of August 15th, 2021 to August 16th, 2026 to the following, and to authorize the Plain Township Fiscal Officer to sign the memorandum of agreement for deposit of public funds with each of the financial institutions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a resolution to establish Fund 35, American Rescue Plan for grant funding, and to certify this fund to the Stark County Auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 7 is a resolution to request an initial amended certificate of estimated resources from the Stark County Auditor for $700,678.36 and to appropriate these funds as follows.
So moved.
Second. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 8 is a resolution to authorize the following transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
That concludes Fiscal Officer report.
Thank you, Tom. It's going to take us to the fire department. Chief?
Thank you. Item number 1 is our monthly report for your review. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution by the, or informational resolution, I guess, for the, for the fire bids for the 2021 Eastern project were received by the following companies and attached to be part of these minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees. As the Plain Township Board of Trustees have received 4 bids for the Plain Township fire bid project for 2855 Easton, the Plain Township Board of Trustees are rejecting the bids per Ohio Revised Code 15312, whereas all the bids were over 10% of the engineer's estimated cost.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I'm not gonna lie, annoyed by this one. I know it's not your fault, but
Yeah.
from an engineering aspect, especially with material costs, this is just, I'm just trying to stay silent because
I do want to
This is
say,
frustrating.
Chief did recommend an increase in the engineer's cost, and the engineer, who's the expert, disagreed. And everybody tries to stay in their own lane, even though Chief pushed it, and that's why we'll be rebidding.
this is where prior proper planning improvements.
Yeah, so Chief did his job,
PPP.
the engineer who stumbled in this process.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to promote Joshua Short from part-time status to full-time status as he's completed his Ohio Police and Fire medical physical.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 5 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to extend the offer of employment for a part-time position of a probationary firefighter EMT to the following persons as and wages will be established by 21-155. Resolution is Alexandria Brown, Seth Falcone, and Cody Schaefer.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Oh, sorry, yes. I was looking, staring at my
Sound pretty
name.
raspy for
I
us.
know.
Sorry.
Brooke, I don't think you're feeling good.
Voice got deeper.
Okay, thank you. Number 6 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to change the status of Kit Rothenmiller and Alex Derlick from part-time firefighters to part-time paramedic firefighters and increase their wage to $17 an hour without benefits according to Resolution 21-155.
So moved, Mr. Sabo, second. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
That concludes fire department. Thank you.
Take us to our transitioning road superintendent, Mr. Neff.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. First item under road is the monthly report.
Good use of our drum.
Yes, big thanks to Eric for getting those shots for us.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Road item number 2 is to authorize, by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, to authorize the ordering of a 2022 International Dump Truck and chassis for Rush Truck Centers under the ODOT Co-op program for the amount of $87,985. This price does include a 60-month, 100,000-mile warranty.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Third item under road is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize purchase and payment to GeoShack for a ground pipe laser with breakable and tripod, not to exceed the amount of $2,105.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Last item under tonight's road is number 4. It's to authorize payment by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to Lepo Incorporated for skid steer and bobcat excavator training for road and parks department, not to exceed $5,100, to be divided by 2 separate funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, I commend you for moving so fastly on this training, just for the record, because I know I've told some of the employees I've crossed paths with, whether it was during work or market, back here. This is the type where everybody across the board should have this. This way there's absolutely zero excuse of, well, I don't know how to operate that, let alone operate it safely. And then when folks get out on a job site, listen, whether you like who you're working with or not, you're gonna go out there and be able to do it all, so.
Real quick, just a big thank you to the board for allowing us the time and resources for this training. I know the guys wanted me to pass that along, so thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
That concludes road department.
Thanks, Chair.
Perfect. Takes us to zoning. Tom?
Thank you, sir. First item on the agenda is a monthly report.
Chipotle there.
Any questions? Okay. Go ahead.
Item number 2. Item number 2 is a resolution to declare item as A, and it should be B, as nuisance abatements.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution to declare items A through D as nuisance abatement payments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 4 is a resolution to authorize a refund in the amount of $529.30 to NVR Ryan Homes for a building permit that was subsequently canceled.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that'll do it for
Thank you, Tom. Takes us to the Parks Department. Rob?
Thank you. Item number 1 is the monthly report.
Okay.
And item number 2 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to hire Christopher Woods for full-time parks, buildings, and grounds employment at a rate of $14 an hour with benefits to be taken from funds 01B, 01, and 01B, 01A, effective August 8th, 2021.
So moved. Second. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes part.
Okay, nothing out of the law director, nothing out of communications. Brings us to the portion of the meeting, public speaks. If there's anybody in the audience that wishes to address the Board of Trustees, yes, state your name and address. Do you have anything to wish to address the board?
I have no formal address to the board. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, and I'm
Oh.
part of their observation
Okay.
corps. So,
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
just to
Well,
let you know that we're interested.
I just appreciate you coming out tonight, for sure.
And I live at 2924 Cloverhurst.
Okay.
I'm across the street from the pond.
Yes.
So that's the little ranch there?
Yeah.
I used to live in the two-story right next to that
Oh,
ranch. So
okay.
Ralph and Colleen Rees owned that.
We bought it from them.
Okay,
Aw,
yeah, I
what
know
a small
exactly.
world.
Yes, it is.
Hopefully the geese haven't made too much of a mess, or that's.
You accept them.
There you go.
I'd like to be a sniper at night whenever I was in work, because they make the mess, but,
But thank you very much for inquiring.
well, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
outside. Nobody else in the audience? Okay, that concludes public speaks, concerns of trustees.
Actually, I thought of something when Chuck was giving his report. I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow's going to be through FEMA, the Emergency Alert System Test. It'll be at 14:20. It's actually going to be, I think this may be the first time that it's been this extensive. It's going to go through both radio and TV and any other electronic devices. So we're all highly probable to get it on our cell phones.
Thank you.
Also.
That's good.
So, don't be panic stricken when you hear that, but
Should we put a notice on Facebook or social media?
probably wouldn't hurt. I just thought of that, and,
Okay.
Not produce
Yeah.
any unnecessary
Yeah.
calls just because of.
yeah, because, you might get people that are a little panic stricken
Yeah,
by it.
absolutely.
Because I don't think this is, help me out, Chuck, I don't think they've ever done this on cell phones before.
Yeah, it's not, and it hasn't been very well advertised.
No.
I
don't
haven't
think.
seen anything
No.
about it,
So the thing from the Ohio Fire Chief's response came out, but,
Yeah.
because I was gonna have dispatch announce it just for,
Sure.
the scanner people out there, but
Is it just for Stark County, just?
Oh,
for
no, it's
Plain?
nationwide.
Oh, nation?
It's
Okay.
it's
Wow.
by FEMA.
yeah, so you
Yeah,
could,
there's
depending on
That's
your.
gonna cause some
Yeah.
confusion.
One's called
Let them-
the Emergency Alert System, and the other one is called the
FEMA Go
Wireless Alert System, I think. So,
Rob, can you get that out tonight? And then Chief, can you maybe nixle that
Yeah,
for the
it's,
people who are subscribed to nixle
be
or?
at
or
2:20 tomorrow.
tomorrow.
And I think
Yes.
if for some unforeseen reason there was a storm or something where they actually had to use it, they have a backup date, but that's later on in August, but I think it's gonna happen, and that'll be at 14:20 tomorrow.
Yeah, the only thing I read was with the wildfires, they talked about postponing.
Oh, I know.
don't know
That's-
if that's gonna end
yeah.
up with anything. or
Because
not,
it's
but-
FEMA driven, so it's, it's nationwide.
Thank you for bringing that up. I
I
was
just thought of
totally
that,
unaware.
yeah. We actually did get something from EMA, Tim Worstler, that was sent out. That may have even been sent out by the Township Association.
I think it would have been forwarded.
Yeah,
We would have
Yeah.
forwarded after, whatever.
but there will be some people that are gonna get that and it's gonna surprise them.
Yeah, you know what I'll do is
Should
have
I
a,
say all technology and devices, would that sound?
All electronic
Yeah.
devices.
The only ones that are gonna get it, I think, is if they specifically went into their phones
To opt
and
out.
set it to opt out. So I'm pretty sure if you get a,
Like Amber Alert?
like an Amber Alert, then you're gonna get this one.
And department heads, if you could meet with your administrative assistants tomorrow, because they're the first line of answering the phones, and let them know what's happening, that way we can give a clear, concise message right away.
Thank you.
Any further concerns, trustees? Any concerns of the fiscal officer?
No concerns.
Okay, it'll take us to the approval of minutes for July 13th, 2021, and I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Next is approval of minutes for July 27th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And I will move on the approval of the special meeting minutes for August 6th, 2021.
Second.
Discussion,
Yes,
One note, yes, I do.
you go.
On this one, yeah, we had done 2 copies of this, and the one that's included here is the first copy that has me executing the agreement, when actually Scott, as the chairman of the board, is going to execute the agreement. So we need to make sure that's reflected in whatever final version we put
Oh,
together.
okay,
Because
yeah,
there's 2 floating around us, so you obviously got the earlier one.
okay.
And all of the information from that meeting has been sent to the Attorney General and confirmed that they've received for that opioid national settlement. And you saw I asked the question, do you need anything further? No, everything is received, so within the time constraints.
Thursday was the day.
Yeah.
The 13th,
And
yeah.
the good news is it looks like a lot of the other government entities are doing the same.
I think you'll get a
So,
wide purchasing
yeah.
action. I think they'll meet the threshold.
there is no excuse why they should.
No, that's right.
Unless they think there's some reason where they were specifically able to do better, which I don't think
Yeah.
they're fine.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
We do have a need for executive session, so I'm going to make a motion, be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to adjourn to executive session at 6:22 PM from this regular meeting is authorized under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for the purpose of the consideration of 1F, compensation of a public employee or official.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.